Premier League football finally returns tomorrow and we have Man United back. Now, I'm desperate to just watch Manchester United again, but am I really? Probably not after some of our recent performances. It hasn't been enjoyable. So please give us something versus Brentford because I do not like the international break. I love the Premier League. But what is the situation with Ten Hag and the manager's situation? Why is Ten Hag safe and why is he a lot safer than maybe what is being reported? Some inside information has come out about the truth about Erik Ten Hag's job, his future, and why he's a lot more safe than the media may present. Some news about United going for Leon Goretzka, Alonso Davies open to United if they accept his wage demand, some more transfer news, some updates on Diallo, why he's got to play an important role, some updates on the youth Golden Boy Awards, some more news on injuries, a few blows, a few boosts. Evans talks about Ten Hag and Diallo speaks out about being at United, setbacks, mentality, and all of that. So hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football. Welcome back to your 10-minute news roundup. There's so much news to come out today. So let's just go ahead and dive into the news. But please do subscribe if you're new and hit that like button. On that big road to 100,000 subscribers. The goal is to hit it by the end of this season, so May. But the ambitious goal, which I don't think it is because I've got 2 months to gain 5k, would be December 31st. But I mean, that's really ambitious. But let's get into what the Muppeteers have said on Erik Ten Hag's future and what the situation is right now. The Muppeteers don't get the impression that Ten Hag is close to being sacked, more likely to review his position during the next international break. A really bad result against Brentford would change their minds. Nobody's lined up to take the job this year. So even if we lose 2-1 to Brentford, I don't think Ten Hag's going to be sacked, and the Muppeteers are saying the same. I mean, I don't think he's going to be sacked even if he loses to Brentford, because you could have just sacked an international break. I think the earliest he's sacked is November international break, unless we get absolutely humiliated. Do you know what I mean? I think the earliest I think he's got 7 more games. I think they'll reassess in the November international break. It's like Ollie. We thought it was going to go in October. He got to November, then he bottled it versus Watford. I think he gets to November international break. I think Ineos are thinking, we've just backed them. We're still in, reasonable target of top 4. That's what I think the case is, and that's what the Muppeteers are saying. They're saying that Tuchel didn't want the United job and that he was never really an option for United. Once, obviously, he was an option for us in the summer, but because he didn't want the job, he wasn't an option for us in these last few weeks. And it was said that Ineos have lined up their top target. They know exactly who they want long-term if Ten Hag is sacked, and they've discussed all potential long- and short-term outcomes, including manager targets. So what I'm getting at is, unless something catastrophic happens, Ten Hag is here to November international break. Ineos will reassess in November international break. They may look at who they want. There's a manager out there that Ineos want. I reckon it's McKenna. Maybe they can't get McKenna to the summer, so they'll look at, could Ruud van Nistelrooy get through? Could this guy's interim get through? Do we give Ten Hag a bit longer? Or do we take a risk and go for a Thomas Frank now, pay the money, even though he's maybe not the first choice long term? I think Ineos know what they want, and I think Ineos have got to assess whether they can take the risk in using Ten Hag or using an interim or using a short-term option to get to the end of the season and it still be an all right season and then get what they want in summer. I think that's sort of the situation going about, but they've discussed all potential options. Ornstein said there was reservations about going back in for Tuchel lately because of what happened in the summer, so probably why Ten Hag is safer. We didn't go for Tuchel despite reports. And apparently Amarin is not a top target for long-term manager, which is interesting because the Muppeteers did say that Amarin was on the list. Now, what I'm hearing is Alonso, McKenna and Hoeneß are Ineos' 3 favourites from what I've heard. They don't mind Thomas Frank, but they really want to get this manager appointment right. So it'll be interesting to see what information comes out. But I just think they want McKenna, and they're going to just see what happens with Ipswich this year and play it out. In other news, it was said that Manchester United would be one of the clubs Leon Goretzka would like to join if he doesn't want to leave in the winter, though. For me, I don't mind Goretzka on a 6-month loan in the winter just to get us through to the end of the season for depth, but it's a FIFA transfer. It's someone you buy on FIFA career mode. He's got a good FIFA card, but he's actually not a great player. He's all right. I mean, he's a good player, but he's not what United need. Do you know what I mean? He's their version of McTominay, where he does the job. He's different profile to McTominay, but he does the job, but actually Bayern are more than happy to sell him. And there's a reason Bayern are more than happy to sell him. So for me, I wouldn't go anywhere near Goretzka. I think there'll be a lot better options in midfield in summer that'd be younger, that'd be fit the project more. Unless we're thinking 6-month loan to help us get through because, a form of midfield or injuries in midfield, not interested. It was said that United are willing to pay Alonso Davies' salary demands of 20 million euros a year. They would be a good big competitor for Real Madrid if we're willing to pay that. Bayern do not want to pay him over 20 million euros a year, and they have stopped talks with his agent. There have been talks with Real Madrid. So basically, if we pay him 320 grand a week, which is less than Casemiro's on, but still way too much, he would think about coming to United. Would you take Alonso Davies for 320k a week? I guess you sign him on a free, so the money you get from getting him on a free, I guess, was the reason why his wages are inflated. For me, 250k a week, I'd do it. I don't want to spend more. I want to max our weekly salary at 250k a week. I think 320k a week is insane, and I think why he's a good player and why we need a left back, and while I guess if we're getting on a free, the salary sort of makes up for it. It's the fact that when players have come to United because we're offering them ridiculous money, they don't seem to work. Now, I think Alonso Davies is great, but the amount of times we've brought in like Alexis Sanchez, good player, ridiculous wages, and it's just not worked out. It's because of the wages, and then we can't get rid of them. And I don't think he's got a bad attitude, but I think it attracts the wrong kind of players. But we need a left back, and I would take Alonso Davies. But I'm still very open to the idea of Anthony Robinson. I know he's at Fulham, but I really rate Anthony Robinson. I think he's honestly the best option on the market in terms of realistic. I think we could get him for 25 million in January. Talking of best option, I've always said this. I love Garnacho, I love Rashford, but we need Ahmad on the right wing because he's a different dynamic. Ahmad has created more chances 12 than any other Manchester United player in the Premier League this season, despite playing 54% of the available minutes. What do we not do? Give Højlund chances. When Højlund's on the pitch, we're playing with Garnacho and Rashford. No, play Ahmad, because Ahmad will give Højlund service. For me, Ahmad. Rashford on the left, Højlund or Xerxes in the middle, Ahmad up top. In fact, Rashford on the left, Højlund up top, Xerxes in the 10, Ahmad on the right. Watch Højlund get chances, watch our build-up improve. Put Bruno a little bit deeper, play Ugarte next to Bruno if he's about. Bish, bash, bosh. That's what I want to see, which probably won't work. Anyway, continuing on. Mazraoui, Garnacho and Ahmad are all back in training despite missing international break matches. Garnacho and Ahmad are all set to be fine. Mazraoui, I think because of the health situation, can train but not play in matches yet. In terms of blows, Maguire and Mayo are out for a few weeks. Cobby reports are saying 4 weeks. Maguire reports saying 4 to 6 weeks, which is really annoying because they're two players we could definitely use right now. The injuries are really starting to creep in, as I spoke about in yesterday's video. Ugarte took part in the recovery session after returning to England, but he only took part in light training, which makes me think he's probably not available for the Brentford game, but could be available next week. I think maybe he's got 2 weeks out, so it's already been a week of international break. Maybe he's just going to miss the next few games. Malacia took part. They think he could actually be ready to sort of integrate back in end of October, early November, which would be great to see. And then Mason Mount and Luke Shaw are making progress in their recovery. Some sources say Mason Mount will be fine to play versus Brentford. Other sources are saying he won't be. I mean, he got a concussion, then he's out again for 6 weeks because he's picked up another injury somehow. Mason Mount, man, I really like Mason Mount as a person. I think there's a good player there. Like, he was good for Chelsea. He was their player of the season 2 seasons in a row. But this guy is made of breadsticks. His muscles are breadsticks. They just crumble at any. Now, talking of youth, talking of stars that we've got at United, Alejandro Garnacho, Kobbie Mainoo and Leny Yoro among 25 finalists for the Golden Boy. Man United are the only club to have 3 or more finalists in the Golden Boy Awards, so big up to United. And I quote tweeted this. It's really exciting the young talent we have, not just those in the first team, but those coming through in the academy. The worrying thing is the environment of the first team is not the best to nurture them, give them time. It's going to be a really difficult job for Yoro coming through because the way that we set up, making Martinez and De Ligt's job really hard, and they're struggling in their experience. Garnacho's being asked to do a crazy amount of running. Mainoo's being asked to do a crazy amount of running. We need to profile Mainoo correctly. We need to utilise it so that Garnacho can be more dangerous using his pace. We need to create the right environment for Yoro to come in. We've got all these great players. We've got all these great players in the academy, but we need to make the first team environment and structure something that can come in and, Kobbie, you know what? This is perfect for him. And that's the big worry. You know, I think we've got all this talent, but I don't think the manager's utilising it properly. In the sense of, he's asking Kobbie to do jobs that aren't his strengths. When Kobbie's strengths on the ball, we need someone that's going to do the off-the-ball work, and then we can see Kobbie excel on the ball. We need to sort out the structure and the system and the environment so that the young players can really, really develop and grow, because it does feel like everyone's regressing at United. Evan spoke about Ten Hag. He said he's a very strong man, and I admire him for that. You can see he's very committed to his principles, his way of working, and his way of being, and he rarely changes. Yes, Evans, we can very much see that. He said he shows real strength, he believes in himself, and he believes he wants to be who he is. I admire him for that strength and courage. He's always very positive. His message is always the same and very consistent. Basically, Erik Ten Hag doesn't change his beliefs. Who would have guessed that? Diallo then spoke about his United career. He said, if you want to reach the highest level, you have to prepare for that. The competition for places. I've been lucky enough to go through all the stages, playing, being injured, not being selected by the manager, playing every game. So I've experienced all the stages, which helps me to know sometimes how some of my teammates feel when things aren't going so well. I fought and I have to keep doing it because the expectations are getting higher and higher and higher, especially at this club. Diallo's one of my favourite players mentally because he fought for his place, he got in the team, and he consistently delivered, and he works hard. Like, Diallo's mentality and his work rate, you can never doubt. Sometimes he had defensive, errors here and there, but I think he's been good. I think he's fought his way into the team. He went out on loan. I think work rate, desire, you can never criticise Diallo. And there's a reason that Real Madrid would look at him as their second choice if they cannot get Trent. It was also said by Diallo, it's sometimes something that comes when you're at a club for so long. I try and understand what fans feel. When you know the emotions of the fans, you start to be a little more like them. You can play for a club, you have that love for the club. I think it's perfect combination. And I think Diallo's got that mentality. But look, that's all your latest Man United news rounded up in 10 minutes. I'll probably be live about 6 p.m. tonight unless there's literally no news that comes out. See you then. Bye.